Boards, games, board games. I might be talking about board games and distractions, but I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing, and I guess I need to take a break. This is something I need to take. And I'll talk about how that could be done when you go out and have some unrelated fun. Even though my work is my passion and I'm very lucky, sometimes a break can be good for me. Board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, I'm not gonna shout. Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. It's 10 a.m. UK time for Bessie Beats and Board Game Leather. And today, what am I talking about? Well, I was going to have a chat with Jess Medringham, but yeah, there was a mix-up and Jess isn't able to make it, but I just want to talk about the value of distractions, the value of doing things which aren't board games, because I think ultimately it can be so... You can feel like you have to just work harder and harder and harder, especially if you're doing a job where you're doing something that you love. I mean, if people are saying things like, oh, congratulations, people who work hard get this thing, maybe it's me, maybe I'm kind of projecting, but then it can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting that. Does that mean that I'm not working hard enough? How can I work harder? And it's important to remember that if you've not gotten the thing yet, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not working hard enough. And there is luck going on. There is, everyone's in a different situation, and like it can be whatever your status, it's important to be mindful of your own boundaries of doing things. Hello, Yoda. I hope that you're well, and thank you for joining me for this chat. This is going to be quite a quick one, where I'm basically just extolling the virtues of, as much as you might like, even if you're lucky enough to make games professionally, hello to me, like, I know that games are your passion, and I believe that programming and all of that is something that you love and you're getting paid for it, and congratulations on having that job. And I hope that you're enjoying everything in your life. And sometimes, if you're working for someone else, it's not so bad. But if you're working for yourself, then you might, like me, start thinking, oh my gosh, I need to work all the time. And so for me, at least, it's super important to sometimes be saying, you know what? I'm going to organize this so that I cannot work during it. I'm going to organize some time to do some dancing. I'm going to allow myself to watch this film. I'm going to go for a walk and not listen to a podcast. I'm going to listen to a podcast which is nothing to do with board games. So I'm distracted. And like, board games are brilliant. Of course they are. And when I'm not making them, I love to be playing them or thinking about them or reading rules or listening to podcasts about them, or indeed, chatting about them on this show. The only games that I have to hand are my own, but I actually enjoy playing these. I enjoy playing not all of the LDEC contest games are games for me specifically, but I actually enjoy it, and that's the trouble. Because when you enjoy it and you're like, hey, I can do this more and more and more, then you just say, okay, I'm going to do it whatever time I do it. And then first thing in the morning, it might be social media becomes part of the work, where it's, okay, I've got to tell people about my thing. I've got to hold on to this because it's all about me making sure that people are following me, and so that when I announce my next game, then I'll have more followers. I mean, yeah, there's a really weird dichotomy not even a dichotomy, a really weird urge nowadays that everyone is pushing themselves in the face of everyone else, and you always want to be doing that. And Yoda says, I'm distracted right now. Like they're allowing themselves to be distracted from work. And that's good. Congratulations. But yes, hopefully this makes sense. Anyway, recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. If you've got any recent highlights, feel free to let me know. For myself, yesterday went and yeah, I got my laptop sorted. And once that was sorted, I was like, yeah, brilliant. This means that I can do key things. But I could launch Kickstarter today, but maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'm just like, you know what? This Tabletop Scotland, it's just going to be a relatively quiet affair. And yeah, no, I've spent money on it and I'm kind of got a booth that's probably too big for what I'll end up doing. But it's okay. I can't be burning myself out all the time. I can't be rushing around trying to get people involved who maybe are already struggling to know all who are struggling to learn a couple of games in December. And so, yeah, if it was someone else, then that would be fine. But I think that the key thing is setting boundaries, saying that, yeah, I'm going to not do this. And yesterday I had a quick sort of co-mentoring chat with someone where we're helping each other. I had another business chat with someone where it was basically consultation time, had a wander, I had some sugary treats. I am going to say that I personally enjoyed one of the treats that I got for 69 pence, actually about the same, if not more, than the super overpriced one that I got for £4 at Covent Garden. And I'd always wandered past this place, like a small cafe where Covent Garden, they've got all these fancy things, and it's like, wow, this place says they sell the best pastel de nata ever. And this place seems to be saying they sell the best cookies and they've got cookie brownies. What's that all about? I've never had a cookie brownie. What is that? Maybe I should just this once, let's treat myself. And I'm not gonna beat about the bush. It was average. But I didn't really enjoy the fruit juice, the ginger. Like I made myself a salad last night and I just kind of was like, yeah, I'm going to frankly watch some TV. That's a lot of what I did. Today, I'm planning on taking basically most of the day off. I'll spend half an hour doing a couple of things that need to be done with regards to critical emails, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But then I'm going to head out around 12 and just enjoy gallivanting and exploring around the town, and it's important. And that gets me into the main topic. So if you've got any questionably quick questions, fire them through. Otherwise, we'll talk about brilliant thing. Brilliant thing. What's the little thing which is brilliant? Why is gallivanting around brilliant? I mean, why is exploring the world and just seeing what's there and trying, why is that a brilliant thing? I think that it's a brilliant thing because, yeah, you exercising your body. Look, even if you are trying to make the best board games, even if that is your business, by constantly doing the thing, that doesn't mean that you're going to just get better and better at it. We are not robots. And so by going around, it gives our mind a break. It beefs up our bodies in order to have healthy bodies, healthy minds, all that. It allows us to get inspired by things, even though they may not inspire a game directly. I've not made any games based around ducks, despite the fact that I'm going off and checking out the ducks many times a week. But despite that, going and seeing them, it gives me time to rejig the neurons in my brain and get them firing in a new way. And if I explore somewhere else today, then again, that will get them firing in a new way. So when I come back to making games, even if that was all the value I had as a human, and that's not true, we need to remember we do have other values as a human. It does help us. And so, yeah, explore for your own curiosity, explore for your own enjoyment, explore to enjoy life. And yeah, explore because it does help you when you come back to things. And I think, yeah, that's final touching upon stuff. Where I touched upon it makes you better at making games. I mean, the important thing also to remember is that your value is not just your work. Your value is not just your programming or your art or your writing or your service as a cashier or as a waitress or whatever. Your value is also your relationship to your friends, or your value can be in simply existing. Your value can be in simply we are privileged to have this joy of life, so let's wander and enjoy it. And I guess that's what I'm encouraging people to do. So yeah, if you've got any questions, comments, yes, fun like follow, but honestly the questions and comments are the bigger thing. So I don't feel like I have anything more to say about that. Just don't be banging your head against the wall trying to get a thing done figuratively. Work on it, try and do it, and then if you feel like you're slowing down, sometimes that means that you need to take a break. Sometimes, if you're self employed, I find it useful to say, okay, after X amount of time, after 5 o'clock today, or after 7 o'clock today, whatever, I am not going to do any work unless like it's absolutely needed. Like if I'm at a convention, then that's different. If I'm at a convention, all bets are off. Everything, all the rules go out the window. If I'm being paid for doing something at a specific time, that's different. If I'm at a playtesting event, or if I'm demoing something at Tabletop Tuesday, that's obviously different. If there's like a specific reason why this has to be done right now, or indeed back when Chris was working for me, if Chris was coming the next day and I had to do art for that day, then okay. But ideally, I shouldn't have to do work after a certain amount of time. I mean, whatever hours make sense for you, it doesn't mean that you have to work, the hours that I prefer to work. It doesn't mean that you have to work the hours that you would work in a normal job. Like if for you, if working 5 p.m. till 2 a.m. makes sense, then do that. But kind of setting these boundaries. And I guess that the value of the distractions, the active distractions, is that then you can make sure that you aren't thinking about the thing. Because that's why, personally, I love dancing. So on Monday, I went out to Ciroc, and I also enjoy being in social environments. Today, I'm going to a big group thing where nothing to do with board games. I'm not even taking any board games. And so it's like, yeah, it's a totally different thing. And Elaine, hello, thank you for joining. Elaine says, I totally agree. Sometimes you get so caught up in things, it's easy to forget the joy of just being. Yeah, that's a lovely phrase. The joy of just being. Yeah, I mean, what makes you smile? I wrote a song years ago. I find that I smile more when I take a walk outside. Truth be told, I don't get enough exercise. As I'm smiling, as I'm laughing, walking, watching people walking by, see a face I recognize, and I stop to say hi. And the point is that, yeah, just being, but at the same time, it's good to reflect on what actually makes you smile, because you could be just being in your living space and then getting despondent and then just, yeah, moping around and be like, oh no, I can't do this. And I'm actually going to talk about my birthday, because my birthday was good in the end. I had like 4 people around. It was my first time with more than 4 people in the house at once, because 4 people can sit around this table that I'm at right now. But then there's another table by a couch where I didn't previously have space, and then the couch can sit free. and I made space on the other side finally for two people to sit there. Like, I've still got most of my things in boxes, but they're kind of shuffled off to the side. And that was a delight. But before that, like in the morning, I was like, oh my gosh, um I'm not tidying. I should be tidying. Why am I not tidying? I'm a terrible person. Why can't I just start the tidying? There's so many hours. And oh my gosh, now another hour has passed and I'm still not tidying. I'm being distracted. And so, yeah, sometimes you want to just do the things. But this is an ironic thing of me about to say, you know what? Internet stuff sometimes isn't the most um, great way to encourage yourself or to get happiness. Like, I felt like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything else until I've done this, but I can sort of carry on the thing I'm currently doing. And when I start doing something, I kind of so the moment that I decided, yes, I am allowed to get showered, I've got options. I can either start tidying or I could get breakfast. This was like around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or I could get showered. I'm going to get showered. I and as soon as I went to get showered, then I started doing additional bits and like got the black bag out, got the recycling bag out, and yeah, moved some of my dirty dishes to the kitchen and yeah, sorted them out a bit. And it's like, okay, move this box. And it wasn't until I'd actually allowed myself that distraction from the main job of the day, which, like, it was my birthday. I was taking time off from making games, although we kind of still play tested something, but that's another story. But yeah, it felt like once I'd allowed myself that distraction of simply being what's in the shower, because what gives me pleasure, what gets me up in the morning, what brings me a little bit of satisfaction but doesn't take too long, it's a walk around the block. And so it's a quick walk down. It doesn't need to be a big thing. Just literally stepping outside and walking around the block is enough to get the fresh air on my face and to feel I've gone outside, I've changed my environment, just literally round the block, 2.5 minutes, and I feel better. Um, Stepping into the shower, I just feel okay. I'm allowed to do this, and I know that this is yeah, probably a red flag of mental health or whatever, but sometimes I feel like, oh, am I allowed to do this? Because I don't always feel able to do things for myself. Like, I've got to remember, yeah, I am worth having things tidy for or showering for, being presentable just for myself for. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, last night, like, just a quick shower just before I went to bed. I was, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm doing it for no one except for myself. So yeah, doing things just for yourself because you enjoy them, and because in that moment you. Elaine says, I like the phrase "a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step." I try and think of that when I'm struggling to do anything. And the interesting thing here is that sometimes that first step can be something that seems completely different. I mean, sometimes I remember someone saying, oh, if I had a day to cut down a tree, I would spend half of that day sharpening my axe. And that's a valuable thing to remember. It's not just about starting off doing the thing, it's about starting off getting yourself into the mindset of being able to do the thing, if that makes sense. And yeah, thank you. I'm glad that you agree. Um, and sometimes that might be getting yourself out, having a quick walk, taking a break, sharpening yourself, getting yourself back into the mode, and you're allowed to do other things. So that's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, even if you're exceedingly lucky and you're able to make income and other people are able to find value in something that you're doing on a creative level, I mean, that is an amazing privilege. I mean, with all my self-publishing, even if, yeah, with all my costs, it's not necessarily turning a profit until I sell it or license it to another publisher. It's about how should I put this? It's about doing things for yourself. It's about saying, yes, I love being creative. I love doing this thing, and I am personally lucky because people are enjoying my games and people are buying the games. But sometimes I'll do other things, and that's okay because we deserve to give ourselves time, as Elaine says, to just be. So at that point, I'm going to move over to the question of the day. Question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. And my question of the day is, what was the last thing you enjoyed? What was the last thing that you took some joy or pleasure in? And if it was a board game, what was the last time before then? Some kind of, I mean, if your last time was that you got pleasure was like through playing a board game, I'm always excited to hear about that. I'm interested to hear what board games you're enjoying, but I'm specifically interested to hear, when was the last time that you enjoyed something that was not a board game? And this might be slightly unhealthy, but the last things that I'm going to say are, firstly, a bit of Tony's chocolate, white raspberry with popping candy. That was like, I mean, I'm not sure I would even call it chocolate, because white chocolate, is it chocolate? But the white chocolate plus the raspberry plus the popping candy, it kind of has a really pleasing crunch in your mouth. And yeah, I've turned down my fridge to the lowest setting so that I can put the chocolates in there, because otherwise it'll possibly get a bit bad in the heat right now. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I also watched a show called Kevin Can Himself. And that show, it's all about the obliviousness of a husband. And it's almost postmodern. It kind of contrasts the old studio camera sitcom bright lighting free camera setup with a laugh track whenever Kevin is in the scene, and then as soon as Kevin leaves, then the lighting changes. It gets a little bit more green, it gets a little bit more dark. The camera style changes, so it's more of a drama with like the single camera following people around. And yeah, I really like that. It's playing with the structure of the show. But yeah, I'm enjoying that, and those were the last things that I enjoyed. Elaine says, "Oh, sounds delicious." Yes, it is. It's the best chocolate. Okay, so if you see that one around. But yes, my question of the day is always to you. So people watching, whether you're watching live or after the fact, what is the last thing you've enjoyed? And I am interested to know. Please let me know in the comments, wherever the comments are. And I'm going to point diagonally, so then I think that will be correct. Yeah. But let me know in the comments. If you're watching live, then I'll be excited to read. And if you're watching after the fact, then I always reply to comments, even if not always immediately. But recap. Let's move over to you. What are you up to? You can share a button if you want to. So if there's anything you want to share that you're about to do, anything you're enjoying, just share whatever. I promise that I care. As I said, I am going to be doing a bit of some urgent emails, sort out some things. I will just try and spend an hour on it or less. I do have to book some travel and accommodation for Tabletop Scotland, which I'm aware is ridiculously late. But better to do it now than in 2 days' time. So I'm going to do it now and hopefully, pay a bit less than whatever I would pay in 2 days' time. So getting an Airbnb for me and someone else and travel up there, and hopefully it'll be a nice time. That's all and yeah. That's all I need to do. Then I'll be gallivanting around. So, what are you up to? And Faranak says, hello. Hello, Faranak. The last thing that Faranak enjoyed was a bike ride on local roads. That sounds lovely. I hear that, yeah, in Bangkok, there's some. I hear that in Bangkok, it's really dangerous to cycle on the same roads as the roads where the cars are traveling typically, that they're not really prepared for it, because in London there are a lot of cycle lanes, and even though some of the motorists might be like overtaking you and then going left, which is really dangerous if you are kind of on the left side of the road, so they're basically overtaking and then swerving just in front of you. That's not great, but at least they're aware that you're there. They're kind of expecting to see cyclists. But yeah, I hear that it's more dangerous in Bangkok. But how is it? Emmeline says, never had Tony's. Never had Tony's chocolates. Well, let me tell you, some of it's good. Some of it's, you know, good just because it's chocolate. Like the milk chocolate, the pretzel chocolate, the salted caramel, it's like, yeah, it's good. It's good. But then there's like maybe two or three that you are like, wow, these flavors, these are really enjoyable. And so, specifically, white raspberry popping candy and the matcha. And then you've got the weird flavors. If you like weird flavors, sadly, they don't import them anymore. But in some European countries that are still part of the EU, they've got Christmas flavor. And it's like cinnamon and stuff. And then, yeah. Hello, Xate. It is lovely to see you. We are just wrapping up and talking about what you're up to. And what was the last thing that you enjoyed? That is the question. Faranak, you said that you enjoyed biking. I assumed that when you said biking, you meant cycling, but it sounds like you were actually going around on the motorbike. That makes a lot more sense. I should get used to that term. Okay, biking equals motorbike. Yeah, of course. And yeah, of course. Seeing some bats in the forest, that sounds amazing. No, Elaine, it's not turkey and sprouts. That sounds horrible for chocolates. No, it's like more, cardamom and, yeah, like spices, Christmas spices. You know what I mean? Um, Hello, Matt, who says I'm off work for 3 days before my birthday on Saturday. Oh my gosh. Have a lovely break. What are you up to? That is the question. And Sate says, I got a lovely bouquet of flowers for my birthday. Oh, that sounds delightful. And I now want to make Elaine a turkey and sprouts flavoured chocolate. Yeah. Are you going to Essen, Elaine? Because ah, but yeah, what are you up to for your birthday, Matt? And thank you for popping in. Anyway, to recap and wrap up before we finish up. To recap and wrap up before basically when you're self-employed, when you're doing something that you love, when your job is your passion, whatever, it can be tempting to do that thing all the time, all the time, all the time. But make sure that you've got dedicated time to turn off and not be thinking about that main thing anymore. Even if you're lucky enough to sometimes get money for, yeah, making board games, or sometimes get money for, making videos about board games, potential, whatever. It's about making sure that you do other things. And so, like, when I go dancing, I just have to focus on that thing. And for maybe 3 hours, I just cannot think about board games at all. And that's actually really nice, both to take joy in life, to sometimes it can be inspired, but also more importantly for yourself to just, yeah, have a healthier body, have a healthier mind, have like a break, because we are not robots, and your value as a human, as I mentioned, is not just about that creative effort. Your value is just like enjoy this amazing opportunity to live, because yeah, it's quite nice. And I do think that sure, there's some negative things that I think that, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, are there more things that I would prefer didn't exist, or more things that I would prefer did exist? I mean, I'm not going to get too dark, but like, obviously, murder is like a thing that I'd prefer didn't exist. But then also that's kind of something that causes something else to not exist. But yeah, fundamentally, I kind of feel like existence is typically better than non-existence. And existence, anyway, the point is that, like, life, your existence allows you to do things. So yeah, sometimes it's just about enjoying those things. As always, my links are all at the bottom: Stuff by Bez, YouTube, Twitter, stuffbybez.com/Discord. And if you want to check out my future streams, tomorrow I'm having Chris Kingsnorth back, where we're going to chat about why to run a big playtest event, and I'll probably set up that stream just after this one, because that, again, by doing things at a scheduled time, then that allows me to not do things at other times. So yeah. But Elaine says, I might politely not eat the turkey and sprouts flavoured chocolate. So there's kind of a clash here. Will it happen? Will there be turkey and sprouts flavoured chocolates going on? I mean, it'll be made with love. What if it was turkey, sprouts, and mash? Would you eat it then? But Elaine isn't going to the Essen anyway. Now a bit relieved. Oh my gosh, I totally need to sort out my passport. That would, do I want, so there's kind of three things. Yeah, should be a major priority. Matt says, today I've already been to the dentist, taking mum to Costco earlier. Tomorrow the car's in for the MOT. Friday I'm having a haircut. My birthday will be spent at Asgard. Is Asgard the local game shop? Having a few hours or game cafe with some friends and games. That sounds lovely. I'm not familiar with Asgard at all. But Matt also chimes in with the turkey, sprouts, and mash chocolate, saying, hey, don't go crazy. But apparently it is worth it. And Elaine just seems, you really, really are worth it. Maybe I should add some gravy and some cranberry sauce. Oh my gosh, this is sounding exciting. I love trying new things, but once I had baked bean sandwich paste, out of curiosity, I learnt my lesson. Okay. I am totally down for that. I will happily eat it with you and compare the flavors. Yes. And that sounds good. I mean, the no pun included logo on top, then multiple people could eat it together. Would it survive a trip from Germany to UK Games Expo? When do you think is your first convention, Elaine? I mean, no pressure or anything, but do you think that you will be going to any conventions within the next year? Do you think you would go to any conventions before November 2024? No, this year's 2022, before November 2023. Yeah, so do you think you'll go into any? And yes, Asgard is the local cafe and shop. We'll be at Essen next year. Okay. So maybe we could make it a thing. I mean, although I'm just kind of Xates is not going to be at UK Games Expo next year. Hotel prices went crazy. The room we had raised its rate by £200. Is that £200 a night or £200 for the whole thing? And if you are not already, so KCON is a small convention in Milton Keynes for people who are in the UK. Whether you're going to Essen or not, KCON is 2 weeks afterwards, 21st to 23rd. And then there's also, that's a small thing that might be enjoyable. But then next year, October 20th to 22nd, basically, that weekend, I am having my big leaving party. I mean, I say it's a big leaving party. We'll see how many people actually want to turn up. There's space for 300 people. So it's, I mean, it's a convention anyway. And so we'll have all the people who just want to go to the convention, but then people who want to, yeah, do something. See, it says it's 50 quid more a night, but it's a crappy little room and it was already overpriced. Yeah, I would, and Elaine suggests an Airbnb. I personally do the hostel in town and I enjoy that, but I understand that traveling in every day might be a bit much for some people. And it's, yeah, sleeping with other, in the same room as other people might be a bit much for some people. But yeah, I don't know. I hope to see all of you at some point in the not too distant future in real life. I mean, Timmy, I don't know if we will ever actually meet. But maybe one day, I mean, maybe if you're ever in the UK, then if you are coming through London, let me know. And, Faranak, when I'm in Bangkok, I look forward to actually meeting you. And so I do look forward to hopefully getting to see all of you in the not too distant future. And I believe Faranak is joining me also on Sunday to chat. So yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting to you more then. But for now, this has been a really long wind down. It's been lovely chatting to all of you. Share, spread the word if you want. Thank you very much, everyone. Tomorrow will be more of a normal topic with a guest. We'll be talking about big playtest events and what value they have, because honestly, I think it's going to be a bit of a challenging topic in that. Not that we'll be talking about anything dark or anything, just I personally am not convinced in the value of big playtesting events. And so we're going to have a big debate about it, where I'm like, yeah, do you really need these things? Small playtest events are fine. And then there'll be, so I'm not going to ask the easy questions. It's going to be an interesting interview. But thank you very much, everyone, for being part of this. Sate says, I might try Aircon. Never been to that one, and I do want to see all my UK friends. Yeah, that's a good one. And you will see also, I mean, this year, obviously, there were a lot of people not in the UK that you might have seen, like Dave Luza and Yoda. But Faranak, thank you for being here. Lots of love. There we go, Yoda, saying Aircon is fun. And the last thing I want to say, as always, wherever you go, whatever you do, I hope that you'll have some fun for you. And distract yourself. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Do, do, do. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Do, do, do. Bye, bye. Bye bye, and now it's time to go. Bye 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye bye, Faranak. Bye bye, Odo. Bye bye, Xate. Bye bye, Timmy. Bye bye, Elaine. And thank you for being such lovely people. Bye-bye.